For 4 years, audiences watched a woman shed the skin of a high-demand religion to emerge as a liberated, relatable underdog. But look closer at the mechanics of her survival. Heather Gay repurposed the psychological control of her former faith, reassembling its tactics of obedience, surveillance, and excommunication inside a reality television franchise. The empathetic survivor persona functions as an effective corporate strategy, a shield designed to mask a systematic takeover of an entire ensemble. To understand how this hierarchy was built, you have to look at the soil it grew in. Salt Lake City operates under a unique cultural gravity, deeply influenced by the strict, insular structures of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Gay was raised within the bounds of this environment. She attended Brigham Young University, married into church royalty, and was conditioned to defer to powerful authority. When her marriage ended and she was pushed to the margins, her public deconstruction of that faith struck a massive chord with viewers. This chart maps the skyrocketing sales of her memoir against her early television seasons. Her vulnerability became highly profitable, converting her personal trauma into global cultural capital. Playing the unassuming outcast provides a distinct tactical advantage. When an audience views someone exclusively through the lens of their wounded past, that person becomes nearly immune to standard criticism. By monopolizing the role of the martyr, Gay effectively blinded the audience to the aggressive accumulation of social power happening right in front of the cameras. Shedding decades of deep-rooted institutional conditioning is a remarkably slow, difficult process. Often, the instinct to protect a dominant, demanding authority figure simply searches for a new target to serve. That instinct locked on to Jen Shah. Shah operated as the aggressive apex predator of the cast, demanding absolute loyalty, even as federal authorities closed in on her for orchestrating a massive telemarketing fraud scheme against the elderly. Look at this split timeline mapping the federal case against Gay's on-camera statements. As evidence of Shah's crimes compounded toward a guilty plea, Gay's public defense only hardened. This peaked when Gay suffered a severe black eye. Instead of identifying Shah, she deflected, turning the injury into a multi-season mystery, protecting their alliance over objective truth. Protecting this alpha criminal served as a high-stakes transaction to guarantee proximity to the narrative power engine of the franchise. That hierarchy finally shattered in early 2023. Shah was sentenced to 78 months in federal prison, permanently removing the central gravity of the cast and leaving a massive power vacuum. Months later, on an isolated beach in Bermuda, Heather Gay seized control. A new cast member had been secretly running an internet gossip account to troll the group, a destabilizing threat that needed to be neutralized. Watch her posture closely during this confrontation. The self-deprecating humor vanishes. Her body becomes rigid, her tone exacting. She is no longer the passive exile. She is a prosecuting attorney presiding over a trial. To justify the severity of the purge, she makes a calculated rhetorical pivot, equating the sting of an internet troll account to the trauma of covering for Shah's physical violence and federal fraud. This island takedown functioned as a visible excommunication ritual, designed to purge a rival and unite the cast under a single matriarchal rule. Psychologists recognize this pattern as trauma inversion. Survivors of highly restrictive environments often unconsciously adopt the exact tactics of the institutions that abuse them, enforcing their own rigid boundaries. This diagram illustrates the alignment between religious excommunication and reality television banishment. By orchestrating this public purge, Gay strategically wiped her record clean of a 3-year complicity with a convicted fraudster. It is no coincidence that she finally confessed to the true source of her black eye only after Shah was safely behind bars. The truth was withheld until the threat of physical or social retaliation was neutralized. Gay took the blueprints of the High Council that once rejected her and used them to appoint herself its untouchable Chief Justice. This behavior thrives because the industrial apparatus of reality television demands it. The network ecosystem starves out quiet, authentic healing, heavily incentivizing engineered conflict. Gay represents the ultimate corporate asset in this environment, a performer who realizes that clean execution generates far more profit than messy human recovery. The final realization is tragic. Gay learned the lessons of a dogmatic cult so perfectly that she eventually constructed a new one.